These pictures might look familiar from the video on citations and references, and I hope the metaphors made sense in that context. As I was thinking about the other topics this week, it occurred to me that the idea of guideway signs and maps works for other topics as well. Before I move on to that, I wanted to make sure to note that citations and references are in part about the content and in part about the formatting. Right now, I gave you the content so that you can focus on all of the details that go along formatting, what you need to do, where it goes, how it's done. But eventually you'll work on also gathering the content for yourself. These also relate to content by helping us think about what we know and how we know it. And we're going to move on this week to finding our focus. We obviously started with the big idea of stress and are working on thinking about what we know. The non-empirical articles give us one maybe bigger picture perspective and lead us to some empirical questions. That'll narrow down to our research question. Another way to think about it is that our research question asks about a part of the puzzle that we're missing. In other words, we have knowledge that gives us one part of the picture, and a research question takes us to the next step to fill in a blank. As you'll learn or have already learned, we're going to all work with the same research question to help me help you. And that research question is, how often do college students use coping behaviors? I hope that question makes sense and flows from what you had thought of a good research question would be for this project. The next step is going to be thinking about organizing what we know to explain how we got to that question. In other words, writing about it. Many times the writing process feels like we're diving off a diving board at best, and sometimes it feels like more of a high dive and maybe not so graceful of a landing at the bottom. Hopefully we can eventually get to the point it feels a little bit more like being on our inner tube. But I don't know about you, I tend to flounder around getting on that inner tube. It takes a little bit and it kind of reminds me sometimes of a turtle on its back. So the idea is it doesn't always come, and we're not expecting to jump right into something easy, but we work through that process. The section about writing the introduction gives you a lot of ideas. The rubric tells you where you're going and what the end goal is, and then you can work your way through the process of getting there. I have the structure set up so that there are several pieces to help you once you have something on paper. But sometimes the biggest trick is just getting something on paper or on the screen, so to speak. So please let me know how I can help in that process, and keep in mind that you will need a draft for peer review soon. In other words, you'll have a rough draft that you have points for writing, and then you'll get feedback from one of your colleagues to help you improve that draft before you turn it in for point-by-point grading. I'll look forward to talking to you soon and hope the class is going well. Maybe not exactly a day on the beach, but something that you can envision someday feeling that way.